clicked on this video because you're trying to figure out how to eat carbs and lose weight, right? So up until this point, you've probably tried keto, low carb, carnivore, and you're missing those carbs that are oh so good, right? Hi, my name is Michelle. I'm a registered nurse nutritionist, and I specialize in women's health, hormones, and weight loss. And in this video, I'm going to take you through a strategy I've used for over 20 years with my clients to help them start eating carbs again without gaining weight. So let's dive in. First, we're gonna go to the drawing board. You're here because you wanna know how to eat carbs without gaining weight, right? We're gonna go through what you need to get started. First off, we wanna make sure, my most common mistakes, I see a lot of ladies thinking that I need meal plans. You don't need a meal plan. It's actually the worst place to start, and you'll see why. You don't need macros. No, don't need macro numbers to start. I kid you not, and you'll see why. All right, so now that we know that we don't need meal plans, we don't need meal lists, and we don't need a set of macros to start, let's see what's next. We're going to look at what high nutrient carbohydrates do you like to eat? That's where we're gonna start. Do you like to eat sweet potatoes, red potatoes, white potatoes, oats, squash, fruit, whole grains, such as whole grain breads? We're not talking about white rice, white breads, white pastas. Those are considered simple or really junky carbs, okay? So we're looking at some basic carbohydrates. Next, we wanna know, what is your goal? Specifically, what is your goal? Do you want to weigh 120 pounds? Do you want to decrease your menopausal symptoms? What are you looking to do? Are you looking to find a lifestyle where you can eat pretty much all food? So what is your specific goal here for us to be able to teach you how to eat carbohydrates? Because the goals are going to matter on basically the techniques and the strategies that we'll use. So in this video, I'm going to cover the strategy for a woman over the age of 45 or a woman that is generally in perimenopause or beyond and is working out or is active. I'm talking about active at least 5 days a week, or you're working out for at least around 30 minutes. That's what we're looking at. So if you're working out, you're basically not getting or losing any body fat, you feel like you're at a plateau, this is the strategy I'm going to cover in this video. We're going to look at what high nutrient carbs do we like. Now, here's the thing. We only want to pick 3 starting out. We don't need a whole list, because that whole list ends up into overwhelming, frustration, and then quitting. So it's just like mashing up your clothes in the closet. We're gonna pick 3 carbohydrates to start with, and that's it. So 3 carbohydrates that you can mix and match in 2 different meals, okay? From there, we're gonna say that you are looking at, you're being active, so we need to make sure that we understand what your activity is. So if you're strength training, you need to make sure that your carbohydrate is within 15 to 30 minutes of a strength training session. This is very, very, very important. So we're looking at 15 to 30 minutes before strength training. You want to consume high nutrient carbohydrates, something like sweet potatoes, oats, whole grains, something like fruit, along those natures, okay? Now, what we want to understand is we need that high nutrient carbohydrate to be matched with a high nutrient protein. What we want to understand is consuming any carbohydrate by itself, whether that be an apple, whether that be oatmeal, that will cause a blood sugar spike, which will cause weight gain. But if we consume the right type of carbohydrate at the right time, for example, 15 to 30 minutes before strength training, matched with a high nutrient protein, and we want that protein to be consumed first. It's not the carbohydrate that's causing the weight gain. It's how we consume the carbohydrate, what time we consume the carbohydrates. For instance, if we consume carbohydrates at the wrong time, too far in advance of the workout or too far out of the workout, then we risk the chance of weight gain because we're not utilizing the food for energy, so that we understand that, okay? We're gonna use the same strategy as picking out carbs. We're gonna pick 3 high nutrient proteins. That does not mean pepperoni sticks, beef sticks, protein bars. We're talking about high quality proteins. Things like tuna fish, shrimp, seafood, chicken, really the lean part of the chicken breast, chicken wings. We're looking at pork, things like that. Lean protein. We're not looking at steaks and high fat proteins. We're looking at 3 high nutrient proteins. That's what you want to get, 3 high nutrient proteins. So for an example, if I were going to go to have tuna fish as my high nutrient protein, I would look for a high nutrient carbohydrate. So that could be a whole grain bread, that could be a whole grain bagel, that could be some fruit to keep our sugars low enough. That's another video. We're taking 3 high nutrient proteins when you start this out, and then you have 3 high nutrient carbohydrates that you're going to match or pair those with in the same setting that you eat. That is how you're going to start. Is it going to be easy? The answer is it's not going to be overnight, but it is literally the simplest thing. I've been doing this with my clients for over 20 years. Now, how do you know how much carbohydrates and how much proteins that you're actually consuming? I would suggest that you download a food tracking app. And if you need a suggestion, I've got one down in the comments below, and you can get a free 30-day trial to try that. I would start tracking your foods for a whole week. You don't need any list to start with at all, okay? You're gonna start just tracking your foods. After day 7, you're going to go back into your tracking app and you're going to look at the foods that you're consuming to see which foods you're consuming are high quality carbohydrates and which one of those are high nutrient proteins. If you need help on that, comment down below nutrition guide and I'll get you the nutrition guide that will definitely help you in guidance of high nutrient carbohydrates and high nutrient proteins. After you have tracked for 7 consecutive days, you're looking overall at those foods. And for example, if your end goal weight, even if you're 200 pounds right now, that doesn't matter. If you want to be 120 pounds, your carbohydrate at the minimum needs to be 120. So you need a gram of a carbohydrate per each pound of body weight that you want to be. Here's the trick. If you've been doing carnivore or keto or low carb, you're not going to be able to go from 30 or 40 grams of carbs overnight to 120. That won't work. Definitely you will gain weight. That is a process called reverse dieting. And if you're someone who's been doing low carb, keto or carnivore, and you're wanting to learn specifically how to start this out, this is a little bit more stringent for you, then you can find my link down in the comments and you can book a call with me for a free nutritional consult. We can look at exactly where you're at, what you've been doing, and look at your goal for what you're trying to get to do, because trying to incorporate or increase carbohydrates very fast will result in weight gain. Even if you balance those correctly, we've got to do it slowly. And that's why we slowly even increase our protein. So I want to just back up. We're going to start tracking using a food tracking app. Again, I've got the link down in the description below. You're going to track for 7 consecutive days. You're going to go back, look at what your average carbohydrate intake. You're going to find many of you are anywhere from 30, 50, 200. You're going to get that number and you're going to look at your protein. Most of you are going to be between 40 to 60 grams of protein a day. Here's the caveat there. Your proteins need to match your carbohydrates in order for you not to gain weight when you add them back in. So what does that mean? That means if I know I want to be 120 pounds starting out, I'm going to need to consume at the minimum 120 grams of protein along with 120 grams of carbohydrates. That will get you started. That will get the scale to moving. That will get the inches to falling off. That will get you some momentum. If you find this is something you're struggling with, you'd love to know more, you'd love to look at next steps, I have got this all lined out step by step and a blueprint in our NFL program, Nutrition for Life. If you'd like to learn the next steps for you, you can book a call with me down below and the link is in the description. And be sure to watch the next video.